you want us to record it from our end as well, so we have two perspectives in case there's an issue?
I don't think you can do that. I think only the host is allowed to record, but you're welcome if you can do it. And I will send you this whole thing I'll send it right after this conversation. So you'll be able to see it that way.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, that's good. So we have about 30 minutes here. I'd like to ask you, Elena, and your friends as they're listening in, was there bombing last night?
Yeah, there was in Kyiv.
I think.
Yeah.
Evening time, not night.
In Kyiv, there was some, but it's not widespread bombing. Out towards the areas I just came from in the west of Kyiv, there's heavy bombing day and night from ground and air systems. In Kyiv at the moment, it's limited to precision strikes from missiles and airplanes.
And when you say near to you, are you talking about 10 kilometers, 50 kilometers?
20 kilometers.
15, 20, yeah. We can see out the window now where we are, the smoke rising from the areas that I just came from.
Can you move the computer and give me a view of that smoke you're looking at?
Yeah, I think it might be more practical to record it on a telephone and then send it to you to splice together.
It's, we have to move computer out of the window. It's a little bit dangerous for my computer.
Oh, okay. Don't do it.
We're without audio for a second. I wouldn't. But do you see smoke?
Oh yes, I see it.
This is Irpin and side, and a little bit right is Gostomel, but I don't believe this camera will take smoke there. So from the first day of the war, we see everything and hear everything.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I'm putting back computer.
Yeah. So, and by the way, Elena, am I pronouncing your name the way you pronounce it?
Elena or Olena, it's both okay. Olena in Ukrainian, Elena in Russian, it's
okay. And we would say here, Elena.
Yes, correct.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the English would be Elaine, I think. Everyone has like two names here because there's one in Russian, one in English.
Now I must say, I absolutely love the shirt you're wearing. NYC. All right.
I was there like 10 years ago and I like New York.
Oh, when you come again, we will take you to dinner and show you a good time.
Thank you.
So I'll just ask a bunch of questions and then you can answer or your friends can answer. First, I'd like to know, do you have a government issued gun?
Есть ружье, да. Автомат или ПМ, pistol.
Смотрите.
In our...
Let me explain in Russian to translate. Значит, у нас запрещен короткоствол, и на длинноствол нужно разрешение долго делать. Но сейчас у тех, у кого есть оружие, разрешили законодательно расстреливать русских.
Понятно, да. So the way the weapons were distributed towards the beginning and sort of now was the territorial defense groups, which are like civilians that joined up. What she was saying is they recently changed the law as well in Ukraine 2 days ago or a day ago, that civilians can legally kill Russian soldiers until the end of the war. Obviously, it's a case of, you can get a weapon and then you may be drafted in to do some work, like working on a guard post or something like that. And I'm not sure if it's, if they're giving them out as freely to women as they are men, but I think they would be. They're quite liberal like that here. But yeah, the way the weapon systems work at the moment is is kind of under the branch of, I think, the territorial defense groups, I think they're called. And they're the ones manning the checkpoints and the block posts inside of Kyiv at the moment. Mainly civilians that have sort of been drafted into service.
Okay, that's good. Elena, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me, were you born in Kyiv?
Yes, I was born in Kyiv, and I live all my life here in Kyiv in different regions. So I'm absolutely totally Kyivite.
And as I understand it, Mr. Putin believes that you are Russian, that your total dedication is to Russia. How do you feel about Mr. Putin in saying that?
How we can feel if
not Putin, not Mr.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
There's a
Nobody calls him Putin.
Yeah, in Ukraine we have a saying which is almost officially repeated now by the military, government, and just normal people, and it's Putin hoylo, which basically means Putin dickhead. It's like
wait a minute. Say that slower and say it again.
Putin hoylo. It means Putin is a dickhead, basically, or Putin dickhead. That's what people like to say.
This is my slogan. That and I think you recognize the artist who made this.
sure.
And I love to wake up laughing. So that's a good one. Putin's a dickhead.
Yeah, I think the common the perception isn't that Putin thinks that Ukraine is Russian or that the Ukrainian people are Russian themselves. There is an identification that they are Ukrainians and not Russians, but the sort of census is that some territories of Ukraine belong to Russia historically, and the Ukrainian nation is sort of indebted to Russia to be a neutral state, not a state that aligns with Europe or the West. So it's not a case of an ethnic thing where Putin believes they're all Russian, but more a case that Putin wishes Ukraine to be neutral.
Okay. So Elena, tell me about your mother.
My mother lives in 1 kilometer. It's like 15 minutes walking distance, so I can see her quite regularly.
And
I can deliver food, deliver medicine.
That's good. But she won't come and live with you during this crisis.
Sorry?
Она не придет к тебе, не...
No. She don't like to move anywhere. I offer her to move to my flat or to another city, or no way. She won't stay.
Okay.
There's a stubbornness with especially older people, especially from the east of Europe, and like even former Soviet people. If you actually go to the areas of Chernobyl where the irradiated zones are, there's still people living there that have been living there since the 1940s because they refuse to move because it's their home. And that's the same sort of spirit that is the reason that Ukraine is fighting hard as well, because this is people's homes. They're not gonna leave them just because there's something difficult going on.
Good. The general sense, Elena, that I got from your emails is that you feel strongly that Russia cannot win. Do you?
Absolutely.
Do all of you?
It is a question of time, from my opinion.
Yes, definitely. We will win.
Speak a little slower and say that again.
We believe in our army and we believe that we will win. It's a question of time.
I see. And so even if the Russians manage to occupy Kyiv,
no way, absolutely.
They're not going to do it.
It's impossible. They don't have enough army. Kyiv have enough time to prepare for this invasion. So only way to take Kyiv is destroy it completely. This is the only way for them.
That is why they use bombing all the cities in Ukraine and also Kyiv.
On each
They have no another idea how to occupy it.
on each corner of the Kiev streets, on each crosswalk, there is armored people, civilian people who have armors, weapons, and they just waited. They waited.
okay,
The Russians will come.
It's better for the video if anyone who speaks comes close to the computer. Don't talk in the background because we can't pick it up.
I can reiterate if you want.
Okay, okay.
No, what he was just saying is obviously at the moment Kyiv is very well defended. Although it looked quite devastating in the beginning of the war, the military situation, the bombings and the destruction of airports and military targets. Ukraine has been ready for this for 8 years. We faced what we thought was a mass invasion in 2014, and then the war stalled, but we always knew this day would come. And even hours, or I think a day before the actual invasion, there was knowledge it was coming. So they were very well prepared. And one of the big points he said is Kyiv is one of the biggest cities in Europe. You need a mass force to surround it. And everyone's saying, it's like the siege of Leningrad because it compares to the Soviet experience. But I'd say it's more like the siege of Berlin in a lot of ways, because you're going to have people that will defend the city indefinitely. And it will, what Russia don't want is to get involved in urban fighting in cities, because that's where they're going to lose. And the cities they've captured so far are the cities that the Ukrainians have not necessarily given to them, but aren't as important to defend as capital cities like Kyiv.
How do you all feel about President Zelensky? Is thumbs up, thumbs down? How do you like your president?
He is absolutely okay, I think.
Yeah, there was if you asked people that 2 weeks ago, you would have got a bit of a different answer. I was in the Ukrainian military, I still am, and most of the military disliked him because he was a lot softer than Poroshenko. But now, after this last 2 weeks, if you did a poll, if you were to do a poll now on President Zelensky's approval rating, it'd be through the roof. His sort of courage and his steadfastness and his willingness to stay here with the people, and he's put on a very strong figure, something that, he's a very short man, he's a comedian by trade, an actor. Some of those qualities and traits of Zelensky you wouldn't think were possible before. And now I know for a fact that the vast majority of the Ukrainian people adore him at the moment, and that's due to his actions during the war, which is very similar to a lot of American presidents. You see, their approval ratings are low, but during war they're very strong, and stuff like Abraham Lincoln, for instance.
Yeah, and he is a wonderful orator. He's on our television here. He's been compared to Churchill during World War II. So I'm glad you have him. So the question I had asked is, what would you do if the Russians take over Kyiv? And your answer was, it's not going to happen. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. The only one way is for them to reach Kyiv is bombing from air.
Okay, Elena, move a little bit more in front so I can see your face. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask that question again. Elena, when I asked you if what you would do if the Russians took over Kyiv, what was your answer?
Подпольные действия,
Mhm.
как это сказать.
I'll say again, yeah. Well, you think this will never happen?
Yeah.
They will take Kyiv. It's not going to happen.
Ну что, коктейли Молотова на каждом углу стоят. I need to help with this translation.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Like the first question he asked you, первое питание, it's will we win? Will we win?
We will. We will.
We will. And he asked you if they capture Kyiv.
Партизанское движение и
ну да.
коктейли Молотова.
Like everyone else says, even if they capture Kyiv, there will be partisan operations, and the people will continue fighting the Russians indefinitely.
My country has sadly learned that with the Iraq invasion, which we thought was going to go very quickly and we would quickly bring peace to that country. And it went on for years and years and years, as you know. Elena, what is your greatest fear? If you wake up in the middle of the night, what is the thing that frightens you the most?
Если я просыпаюсь посреди ночи, что?
Тебя больше всего на сегодняшний
Новости.
день? Какой самый большой страх?
Immediately after I wake up, I read some news what has happened. You know, it's a difficult situation when we can see the war online.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, as soon as bomb, I can read it in news.
Yes.
So it's very strange, actually. It's like computer game, but this is not game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even as we're talking, I'm getting pings on an intelligence app. Right behind us on the TV screen, there's the information news coming through, and like that's what everyone in Ukraine's doing at the moment. Every morning you wake up and you check the news. Where is there any damage near me? Is there any damage where my friends are, my family are? Because the information on the bombings comes through almost instantly on Telegram or the internet.
And actually, all of us wake up a lot of times per night and checking the news. So we still, even if we are sleeping, we are not asleep.
Okay. And speaking now to your friend who has been kindly translating for us for some of the passages, you have an English accent. Where are you from?
I'm from London. So I've lived in Ukraine for 3 years.
And why? And yet you're serving in the Ukrainian army.
Yeah. I came here in 2019 to join the Ukrainian military. Yeah.
And why did you do that?
I previously served in the British Army, and I'd worked as a medical volunteer in Syria and Iraq and Colombia and Burma also. So it was sort of an interesting next career step, and you can join. The situation now is a bit different. A lot of open volunteers as a foreign legion, but when I joined, people with non-Ukrainian passports could serve 3 years in the military and then be eligible for Ukrainian citizenship. And I have a girlfriend and a family here, and actually my girlfriend's mum is sitting here. She's the one that brought me. We just moved in yesterday, evacuated from where the heaviest fighting is through Russian territory, and we made it here yesterday, and I'm now waiting to go back to work in the city.
And is it your plan to become a citizen of Ukraine and then to live in Ukraine for your life?
That was the plan before this happened. I have an UBD, which is like a veteran's card, and I qualify for citizenship now. Zelensky even changed the law again 2-3 months ago to make it almost instant for people who have served in the war to get citizenship. So hopefully when this is over, I'll be getting citizenship, but obviously we're uncertain on the future. But irregardless of that, I will stay in Ukraine. It is my home now.
Good. That's nice. That's nice. And have any of you, and I'm speaking to everybody in the room now, how many people are standing in that room?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Okay. Hello to all of you. Have any of you 5 considered fleeing to Poland?
No. Me, no.
No.
Да, зачем нам Полон?
Ты идешь на Польшу, эвакуации или Румынию?
Нет, мы остаемся здесь. Нет.
All of us will stay here.
You do feel safe there?
No.
No. It's not about safety. If you wanted to be safe, you could just leave. There's plenty of trains going. Over 2 million people have already evacuated.
Right.
But even for me, my family live in London. I have a nice, British passport and a rich family and all that. But this is my home. I fought for this country. I think this is for everyone. This is our home. Where would we go to? You're gonna, I'd rather live in a basement in Ukraine than live in a basement, someone's basement in Poland.
That's fascinating. That's
I
good.
think I answer for everyone there. And this is our home. Where else would we go?
Right.
Absolutely correct. I have friends from Bulgaria, from Poland, from Sweden, from Denmark, from France. They offer me to move, but I will not.
Well, my wife offered you her apartment in New York.
I'll take that offer. I'll leave then. Yeah, that's fine.
For now, in Kyiv, we have dues to army, and in Kyiv, nobody takes more people to army, and everybody want to fight. So I'm in queue to army and in waiting list from 28th of February, and still nobody calls because there is a huge queue and it's just in Kyiv. So there is a lot of people waiting for the queue here. Nobody runs. No.
Over 60 to 75,000 Ukrainian citizens returned from overseas, also to come fight for their country. Ukrainians that were living abroad or ethnic Ukrainians returned home, and a large amount of Western citizens also come to join this foreign legion, which I personally think is a bad idea. But yeah, there was a bit of panic a couple of weeks ago. They were handing out weapons on the street. We thought the Russians were closer to Kyiv than they were. And then we realized it was just small infiltration groups and a few Chechens that made it into the city. The reality is the Russians are over a month away from being able to surround the city. And I even think that's going to be a hard job for them because of their logistics issues. But that's more of a military question rather than a civilian situation.
Could you shed some light, any one of you, on Putin's false claim, to my ears, of the problem in Ukraine is the Nazi faction, and I have to invade Ukraine to eliminate all the Nazis that are there on my border. What do you think about that?
Не очень.
Okay, first, there is no any Nazis in Ukraine. It's some stupid thing which they use on their television to feed Russian people. They need something to approve this war invasion, because we are free, friendly country. We don't have any wars for 30 years. For all our time, we don't attack anyone. We don't have any problems with anybody. It's democratic country. Yes, we have some economical problems,
You
but
can tell about our house, our building, that we have some another nationalities living in our
we have Koreans in our building who lives with us. We have Russians. I have Russian friends who now fights in our Ukrainian army with Russian invasion. So we don't have all this bullshit with dickhead speak on TV and Lavrov tells on assembly on that we have some weapons or some scene. It's crazy scene, and they just lie. Everything what they're telling is a big lie, and that's all.
I've been asked. I've done a lot of things with journalists over the years because obviously it's an interest in a British guy in Ukraine, etc. And it's a question I commonly answer, and there's a long answer I have for it, which debunks everything. But the shortest point I can make right now is our current president Zelensky He won 72, 78%, something like that, of the popular vote. One of the largest recorded popular votes in Ukrainian history. He won that. He is Jewish. The Nazi party, the Ukrainian right-wing party, they won 2% of the vote, less than 2% of the vote. So if you're going to say a country is Nazi, it's kind of hypocritical when the president is Jewish. He was bankrolled and basically put in power by a powerful Jewish businessman, Ukrainian Jewish businessman with strong ties to Israel, who used to be the mayor of Dnipro, I think. So if anything, the current government is more Israeli or Jewish backed than it is, potentially Nazi backed. There's another, the long stories go back to the Western things you've probably heard of, everyone's heard of, AZOV Battalion and all these sort of things, these spooky, right-wing specters and all that sort of thing. But the reality is, as I've got friends that serve in AZOV Battalion, it's probably the same percentage as any American or British military unit has Nazis. The military attracts people more right-wing because that's just how the ideology works. The military will always have more right-wing people in it than left-wing people. So, those claims are completely false. And thankfully, due to the debacle of the British and American war in Iraq and how it was completely unjustified and we were lied to by Bush and Blair, and then coming more recently to Afghanistan and how that was just a complete and utter clusterfuck. People are sort of more aware than they were 20 years ago about government lying about weapons of mass destruction and Nazis in the government and deep state and all this sort of thing. 20 years ago, Putin could have pulled this off a lot better. He did it in Georgia, he did it in Chechnya. But
Yes.
people are a lot more aware of the geopolitical situation because of their access to the internet, which people didn't have when we invaded Iraq. People just had the information they were told on their TV screens. Now people can search for information themselves. So, and we're seeing that in Ukraine now. People are looking for information on Ukraine. They're watching what's happening in Ukraine. And, it's embarrassing really how obvious Russia's lies are. We all sit here in Ukraine and we're laughing. But Lavrov says we have biological weapons. Says there's an Azov base in a children's hospital, a Nazi base in a children's hospital. What are the other? Many lies, and people are laughing here. And our favorite saying at the moment is "Ruski kорабль иди нахуй." It's our favorite saying because it sums up
one of the best morning comedy shows on our TV. We are watching Russian fight minister.
I know this guy. I don't remember his name.
Звание, как правильно у него.
Like defense minister.
Yeah, defense minister are lying about everything and everybody each morning. And it's just top comedy. If you want to laugh, just watch all of this show of Russian TV. It's just a comedy for us.
You would have seen it. It's a man in military fatigues, an older general. He's wearing glasses, and he does the situational updates from his bunker in Russia of the operation in Ukraine. And it's not a theory. It's very obvious now from everyone's point of view that this operation is not going the way it was planned to go. It was meant to take maybe 3 days, maximum 4, and now it's in its second week, and the Russians have made a rather pathetic progress, considering they were considered the second best military in the world. And from someone that served in the Ukrainian military for 2 years, we're not the best military. We've got good, dedicated people, but the majority of our soldiers are there for the money. Not majority, but a lot of them are not, volunteer soldiers as much. This guy,
Russian defense ministry.
Yeah, they blocked this. Yeah. If you look at any video from the Russian Minister of Defense during the war, in English subtitles, you'll wake up laughing.
I need to use.
Could you send me a link to something?
We're trying to now, but there's just send the link. Yeah. We're going to send the link because most of these most of these videos are from Russian state media, which is now blocked in Ukraine and throughout Europe as well, like Russia Today and TASS and a few others. It's a butcher. I think it's a butcher.
I give a link there, so Elena will send you.
Yeah, she will send you this link. There's a
Little.
it might be in Russian. YouTube might have subtitles, but again, all you have to do is just Google briefing of the Russian Defense Ministry, and yeah, it's embarrassing. And I think, unless you're aware, Putin is in a bunker in the Ural Mountains at the moment. Well, he has been for the majority of the war. Whereas our president is in the center of Kyiv in the presidential palace.
Right.
So there's a big difference there. And when you watch the meetings between the Russians and the Ukrainians, a lot of good points to note. Our diplomats turn up dressed like, you know, fighters, whereas the Russians turn up in clean press suits. So they're not doing good for their sense of, you know, making us look weak or anything.
Okay, I think we have run out of time because I'm not able to get full screen. I only get 2 small images. So I thank you all. This has been. Oh, hang on one second. My wife wants to come in and make an appearance. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come in.
Hello.
Can you see this T-shirt she's wearing?
Yeah, Dynamo.
And
It's our football club.
I want you to know that Drew has had that T-shirt for about 5 years. This is not a new thing that, oh, our dear friends in Ukraine, I better go buy that T-shirt. Drew has had that T-shirt for 5 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's say hello to Elena in the back.
Hi,
Drew.
Elena.
Hi.
I'm so
Nice to
sorry
meet you.
what's happening to you. I just feel so bad for you. I just wish I could do something.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear. I
Yes,
can't-
yes.
Yes, sure, we can.
Yeah.
I'd say not to feel bad. The world is doing so much for Ukraine at the moment, and even these little interviews and things are a big help to us.
Oh, well, I wish I could get rid of Putin.
Everybody wants it.
Everybody wants, yeah.
I think it's a question of time.
Yeah, it's a matter of time. He'll be gone. Yeah.
Okay, well, again, thank you all very much.
So
God
nice to meet you, and good luck to you all, and stay safe.
and God bless you. And Elena,
Thank
you and I will continue to be friends, and I'm going to pursue setting up a GoFundMe. When I have the video, I will send it to you to approve before I post anything online. Okay?
Yeah,
Oh.
no problem.
Thank you.
Great. So thank you again. And Elena, I will be emailing with you later today or tomorrow, but we continue to be email friends. And any of you who gets to New York, please look us up. We'll take you to a nice
As I know, for now, USA don't give any Ukrainian tourist visas to USA.
Yeah.
So not till the war will finish, at least.
Okay, but it will happen. It will happen. Okay, dear friends.
Bye.
Good to see you. Bye for now.